Hi guys, Nicole here, and I'm actually here to do a scrapbooking video. So a little while back, I did a product share or a haul video of a kit that I got from Cheeky Studios. So I was a guest designer for them a few months ago, and I made some layouts. And so if I already did process videos for these, I'm just going to show them to you again really quickly. But I did an unboxing, and so I just really wanted to kind of complete the usage of that product. And so what I'm going to do is, because a lot of times when I do in my Kit Love series, which I haven't been super consistent with lately, but what I like to do is show you the kit that I'm working with, whether it's one I created, whether it's just a manufacturer's kit, and then I'll come back with a second video showing you everything, what I have left, and the product or the layouts that I made from that kit. So I haven't been super consistent about like doing that process lately, just because most of my scrapbooking honestly has been my weekend getaways with Angie and like the 30 to 40 layouts that I usually make there that tend to be from a variety of different kits. And so I don't get a chance to show the kits I work with beforehand because I don't always know what I'm going to work with until I get there. So I'm trying to kind of get back into the scheme of things as far as the Kit Love series goes, with showing you a collection or a kit that I'm working with, and then maybe doing a process video or two possibly, but at the very least showing you a second video that shows you what's left from that kit and then the layouts that I made from it. So it's just fun to see how you can have a smaller grouping of supplies and still get a lot done, and how and you know, like I've talked about many times, for me it actually helps me get more done. I also have one other thing I'm going to kind of bring back a little bit. Hold on one second here. So in the past I have chosen like scrapbook magazines for inspiration, because since most everything is online now, I still have a lot of scrapbooking magazines. However, while I definitely enjoyed them at the time that I got them, and I definitely probably looked through them multiple times, I didn't always necessarily get to go back to them and actually use the inspiration that was in them. And so a few years ago, I started a process where, when I was starting to try to clean out and get rid of those magazines, I just wanted to feel like I really got out of the magazine what I needed to get out of it. And I really was able to access and use the inspiration in that particular magazine. Because some of them, you know, like the monthly ones weren't super expensive, but some of those, you know, thicker magazines or like books that you buy, they weren't inexpensive. I mean, some of those books were $25 or $20 or whatever. And so, while I definitely enjoyed them, I still wanted to feel like I really fully use them before I got rid of them. And so I'm actually going to kind of return to that a little bit this time around, but in a little bit of a different way. I'll talk about that here shortly. So anyway, the kit, the basis of the kit I'm talking about today is basically my leftovers that I had from the Cheeky Studio scrapbook collection that I worked with as a design team guest a few months ago. I made two layouts, which are these here. I did do process videos for them. It's definitely a more fall-like collection, but I did one layout from Thanksgiving pictures. I did one layout that was not fall themed, just to show how you can really pull out elements from any kind of collection and make it whatever theme you want. Like, you can pull elements out of a Christmas collection and make it a non-Christmas layout. And so I did both of those. And so I had a few items left. And I'm really trying to, I have so many bags of kits sitting around, like homemade kits, manufacturer's kits, leftover kits that I just brought home from our scrapbooking weekends that I haven't put away yet. They're still in bags. And so my goal is I want to start getting them used up. And I need to kind of clear out some space and in order to organize things a little bit better here. And so I'm going to show you just what I have left here, and then show you how I'm going to allow myself or encourage myself to use up as much as much of this as I possibly can before breaking it up and then putting it away into my kind of organized scrap area in the office. And so I really just have some scraps left. I did include the tissue paper that came in the kit. Actually scrapbooked with it. I think I used that on both layouts. Nope, just one. So I have just these scraps here. A lot of the die cuts left, a couple of the flares, some sequins. I actually did move a couple. There I had some pink bows left, and I actually moved those into the Maggie Holmes kit that I'm also working with. But I have, as far as full sheets left, so these are all partial sheets here. That's partial. I think they're all partial. So these are all just partial sheets left. There's no 12 by 12s left. But they're super, super cute. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine these leftovers with a couple other kits. Some of them are also actually also partial kits, and then one is not. So I'm gonna set this over here so you can kind of see. Okay, and I'm gonna talk to you about why I chose what I chose. So the first one, I thought about, you know what? I'm still kind of going back and forth on how big of a kit I want this to be. So we'll talk about this one first. I'll combine it and then I'll make a decision because I pulled like 3 other kits, but I don't know if I want it to be that big. So this collection is a fall and a home themed collection. I scrapbooked with it, I believe, during one of the weekends. And so I don't have a ton of it left, but again, it's when I still have it together as a collection, but I really want to use it up. And it's called Our House by Carta Bella. And just as you can see, okay, so this adds in this navy blue, which is not here. But if you can see some of the other colors, you have these pinks that are showing up here. The yellows are really pretty. So this is a fall line, but it's incorporating these other colors like this one is, as far as the aquas and the blues and the greens and some of the other like non-fall colors, the pinks. And so this line does the same thing, and even though some of the colors are different, it's going to mesh really well together because a lot of the colors that are in this collection are also in this collection, and so you'll be able to make that work together. As you can see, this is kind of like an orangey paper, and you have some of that orange here. So it's just, I think overall going to be a nice mix of 2 partial collections to mix together and kind of make my own collection, basically. Here's a cut apart. So if you like even look at this, like with this paper here, which is one of the, or even this one, which is when they're multicolored papers, you can just, it just really looks nice together. They're different colors, but there are also some very similar colors, the greens and the peaches and the pinks and the blues. And so I just love how that comes together. So here's some of the other, so yeah, I've already scrapbooked with this collection. It wasn't a very large collection. Carta Bella typically doesn't have a lot of products outside of just what's in the kit itself. So, you know, some collection like Maggie Holmes, you can get, you know, 15 packages of different types of embellishments, but Carta Bella really isn't like that. And so it's really just a package of papers and some stickers and some die cuts. Is about all that you have as far as options. So I look at this and I see like those work really nicely. Actually, all 3 of those look really nicely together. So, and then it pulls in this black, which there's black in here, and then this pink. So what I did was, because I actually had some pictures, a recent picture of our cat, and then I had some from Thanksgiving a couple years ago. I had some pictures of some of our outdoor cats, and so that will come into play here shortly. But when I have this paper in here, and I thought that would be perfect for those photos. And then I don't know how I'm going to use this one for sure, or if I'll use this side. This one definitely has a fall feel to it, and that pretty green, a little bit different than this green here, but very similar to this green here. I think that's about it. Oh, and then, so there's a few more full sheets here, and a couple of them would be really good as background papers. Otherwise, I can just use white cardstock. So now here we're bringing in these pinks and these really pretty blues. So just again, another example of how these colors all work together. So for sure, I know that these are going to work very well together. I have a few stickers left and some more ephemera. And so I'm just going to combine these all together. And this line has, well, this line has burgundy too, but this is more of just a deeper red, whereas this is more of a true burgundy, but I think it still will be fine. So I'm just going to do that, put the papers together. And now I've gotten rid of one of my bags. Okay, so here's the sticker sheet. Again, if you look at it with this sheet, you can just see it's gonna match nicely. So I still think, because again, as I talked about before, and I always hate to repeat myself, but I know not everyone watches all my videos, and so I like to talk about how kits work best for me. So one thing, and I learned this actually through when I was purchasing kits, you know, that you get sent to you monthly, there would be times where I just really struggled with them, and I finally figured out over time that for me to have a successful kit process, I need to have a variety of dimension. Because if you notice my layouts, I like to have dimension. So I have flat elements, and then I have elements that are like a little bit above that, and then I have dimensional elements. And so I have lots of fun layers peeking, some, you know, from underneath peeking out, some that are on top. And so it's just the way I like my pages to look. Everyone's a little bit different, but for me to be happy with a page, I need to have dimension. And so I know that I'm gonna need everything from maybe rub-ons or stamps, you know, for your flattest of flat. Nice, lost a sequin. What happened to it? Darn it. It wasn't stuck on very well. I'll still have to replace it. Anyway, and then I need some dimensional elements. So wood veneers or flare or chipboard stickers, okay? I also can use pop dots. So when it comes to, if you are super limited in supplies, you know, you can make your own dimensional elements with pop dots, and you can use flat items, and you can pop them up for sure. But I have a lot of supplies, and there's no need for me to do that when I have a lot of dimensional supplies in my stash to use. And so, so for me, I do know that I'm going to need to add some more stuff to this kit, because really everything I have right now is very flat. And I like that I have this tissue paper that adds an extra fun dimension and interest to the page, but everything else, the stickers and the die cuts, are flat. So I'm actually gonna go grab one thing that I forgot to bring in the room, and then I'm gonna show you what else I'm adding to this kit. 1 second. Okay, so while a lot of my themed products are actually packed out in our shed right now, I do actually still happen to have my fall and Halloween tub in the house right now, because just weirdly enough, it was a tub that I managed to either lose the lid or I forgot to buy the lid with the tub, and so I haven't put it out in the shed because I don't want to put anything out there that doesn't have a tight lid. So I happen to have all my fall supplies here. So I went ahead and grabbed these. These are great. I have a ton of wood veneer, so anytime I can use them up, it's great. But they're fall themed, and they're dimensional, and they're neutral. So they're gonna go no matter what. And so I'm gonna add these to my kit here. And then I like to add a tool of some sort to my kits. And so it's just a way to make myself use them, whether it be a punch or a stamp. And so I happen to have, this was just on the top, and it's about Thanksgiving, and I know I'm going to be scrapbooking some Thanksgiving pictures, so I thought I would try to use this stamp. So I'm going to add those just for my general stash, okay? But some other kits I'm going to add in. Well, one kit I pulled, I'm not going to necessarily add it to the kit, but I'm going to have this next to my desk because of that cat paper I talked about. So what I do is, if I have themed product, I'll just bag them together and have them ready to go. So if I am scrapbooking a picture about my cat. Well, if I've purchased cat themed product, I want to be able to know where to find it. And so I have this, it's actually at my pet collection. I don't have a lot of pet themed product, but I have a few things, some stamps and some papers and some of these fun clips. And so I just pulled this out because when I do that layout about Rosie, and then I have a couple more pictures of some of our kittens that I took pictures of on Thanksgiving because they were really cute when they were playing and cuddling and things. I want to be able to use my cat themed product. And so I'm going to pull this out, but I'm not going to add it to the kit. I'm just going to have this nearby so that I can access it when I do that page. So as far as collections that I'm going to add, I have this Golden Days Fancy Pants collection, and it is very similar in color. It has some different colors, but again, it's just about complementing each other. It doesn't have to be necessarily super matchy. Now, I am going to show you a collection that I pulled that I do not think will work, and I'll explain to you also why it will not work. And that's something also that I had to learn over time, because in the past, I would just kind of, if they had the same colors, I would just combine them. But there was one problem that I often run into, and it took me a while to figure it out. So I'm going to share it all with you so that you don't have to figure it out on your own. But this collection is a collection that will work. So if you, I'm going to put these aside here. If you look, yes, it brings in this like gold foil look, which is not here, but that gold, that yellowish gold look is here. So that's going to work just fine. And if you look at the colors, again, you have these really beautiful aquas and these peachy orangey colors, and you have those exact same colors here. So if you put this tag right here on this sticker sheet, it matches perfectly. So this collection also has some black in it, which both of these collections have black in them, and brings in these really peachy, orangey, pinky tones. You got some browns, which here you have this craft color, brown color. So really it's going to go nicely. And so I'm going to show you the papers here really quickly, and then so again, like different collection works perfect. Like this would be beautiful together. And then I'm going to just show you this here. Great background paper, and here you have in these orangey colors and these aqua colors. So just if you can just look at how this paper looks with all these over here, it looks like it belongs. Now, when you look at this whole collection together, you may think, well, not really, but really if you look at each individual sheet, you're going to be able to find something over here that would work with that. And that's the key to making a kit, is not everything has to be perfectly matched. But if you have some elements from paper over here that will match with the elements from a paper over here, and some stickers and embellishments that will work with both, you're all set. So this is just a really pretty gray, which does have in this collection as well. I definitely love that paper. A really pretty golden yellow. I think that's black. I don't know if that's black or navy, but either way, I think it's black. And then again, just really pretty peachy gray tones there. And kind of an orangey yellow, but again, works really well with the colors over here. And like if you look even like here, that color is represented. And then this really pretty like pinkish color, which again shows up in both of those other collections. And again, a golden yellow, more golden yellow. I don't know if that's black or navy. I just can't tell with this coloring, but again, works really nicely and just beautiful. I love it. So let me, oops, did I bump you? Sorry. I'm hitting my head on the camera. So I'm just gonna grab, let's see, I think that would work really well with this. It's like here. That works really nicely. That works really nicely. So lots of options. So that's really beautiful. And then this nice neutral, which you have here. And this beautiful floral, which I got 2 of those because I love the floral so much. Again, just beautiful. So, and I must have 2 of each of these. So there's 2 of each of those. Yes, okay. So that is going to work beautifully with these other collections. So I'm just gonna put it all together, and I'm going to stick the sticker sheet up here and keep all the loose items on top here. I'm going to unpack these for you. That's what I like to do, is unpack and show you how I organize everything. So on my table, what I would do is I'd have my paper in one area, and I'm going to have my smaller embellishments kind of separated out. So I'll go and do that here. Obviously, I'm not going to have my camera set up on my desk while I'm scrapbooking. And so I'll have it like up here, and then I'd be scrapbooking right here. But I'm just going to show you kind of how I pile everything up here. So what I typically do is I would have like my paper themed items in a pile. I'm going to have my really small, like my enamel dots and things in a separate pile. Even probably my flare, because those are more of my finishing touch types of pieces. Whereas these are going to be like my layering and embellishment pieces. Sequins just kind of go everywhere, don't they? Okay, so I have these beautiful tags, and they are like sticking to me everywhere. Oh, one fell out here. So let me just kind of spread these out so you can just see how the colors all work with each other. Okay, beautiful tags. Love tags. They're tags and frames. And some cards. Those are really fun. Hoping to see this. Okay. Those are in there. Okay. And then I have some flare here. So this collection by itself is really going to give me some good, I'm going to keep that because I could definitely use that as a layering piece. I love that. But this will give me some of my dimension, because I only had a couple flare left from that. And so this will be nice. I have it in the wood veneers as well. And this will give me some nice added dimension. And then some more ephemera pieces. These are some, see, this collection came out 2016, if anyone's wondering. It's called Golden Days. It's really pretty. I've been wanting to work with it for a long time. And so now I'm finally just pulling it out and using it. So I think I'm going to keep that too. Love it when the packaging is usable. So these are just some acetate sheets, some die cuts. Again, just more of those beautiful colors. And so like here, if you look, like there, works really nicely. So just love it. Love how it's all gonna come together into a really fun kit with lots of variety, but will all mesh together really well. Some of these, they're like, they're called puffy dots. So some more dimensional finishing touch elements. And here's some cork shapes. So this will be a fun dimensional item to have in this kit as well. So I will definitely be covered in my, in the area of the different dimensions of things. Those are really fun. They're cork shapes. And some of these clips, which are fun. Sorry, my fan's on, so everything's, my tissue paper, excuse me, over here doesn't want to stay still. I love clips. These are really pretty. And then these are, I'm going to keep these in the package. This is actually an alpha, which is nice because I don't have an alpha, I don't think, in any of these collections. So I'll try to use this. But then if I need to pull some like gold alphas or some maybe black or white, I can just pull those from my stash. If I were going somewhere, I'd probably add them to the kit, but I have them right next to me in a cabinet here. So those are really pretty. So I have alphas and then some dimensional stickers here. These are so fun. These are like that puffy style as well. So it's really fun. So again, looks great with all these different papers, I think. Okay, so I think I'm good there. Now I have to decide how big of a kit I want to go with. This is actually a pretty perfect size. I have a bunch of flat elements. I have a good amount of papers. I have a lot of die cuts, some really good dimensional pieces. So really, this would be a really nice size kit. Actually, it'd be a pretty perfectly sized kit. Not too big, not too small. A lot of good variety. I have a tool I can use. Make sure you guys can see everything here. So this is really probably a good size kit. Now, another collection I was considering adding to this, and I don't know if I'm going to or not, is this Creekside collection from One Canoe 2. And if you look, you see it has a lot of those very similar colors, some of the navies and aquas, and it has just your peachy oranges, your peachy pinks, and your like neutral craft colors in there. And I thought it would, and the green even, you know, matches really nicely. And it has just that kind of fall feel to it. It's, or more of a nature feel, which to me, like a lot of the fall colors are more nature, as far as color wise. Your leaves and your greens and things like that. So here's the items. I don't have a ton. I have some washi tapes, a full 12 by 12 pad of paper, and then these, I really like this washi tape though. It's really pretty. Some more dies, some rub-ons that are like star themed or sky themed. Well, they're all like star themed, I guess. And then some stickers. As I look at this, yes, the colors I think would match really well, but this definitely has more of an outside theme to it. So I think I'm probably going to hold off because the pictures I have printed are all Thanksgiving. They're all indoor. Some of them are food themed because of the food. And so I think I'm going to not use this. I think it'll make it a little bit too big. And while the colors, I do feel like if you just look, I don't know if you can see, if you look at just the colors of this and it just looks really nicely with the colors over here. You have a lot of those really same beautiful colors, rich like pinks and some burgundies and reds and oranges and blues and aquas. But I don't think I'm going to add it. I think it's going to make the kit too big, and I think some of the themery to it is going to be too different from what I'm scrapbooking. So I'm not going to add that. Now, if color-wise, it would have totally worked. I'm going to talk to you really quickly now about why one does not work. So whether you're doing this with a whole collection or just if you're thinking about the individual pieces of paper or embellishment packs that you're adding into your kits, this is something to keep in mind. This is what took me a little while to figure out, would often ruin a kit for me. And not always, but sometimes. So one thing that you have to keep in mind is the tones of the paper. So like when I look at this collection, I automatically thought, oh, this would work perfect because you have these really pretty pinky oranges. You have a lot of these more aqua and kind of mint green colors, like kind of, it's kind of an alternative fall color collection. It's not, a lot of fall collections are deep reds, oranges, browns, and greens. And this is a little bit brighter, which is the same thing as what these are here. They're just a brighter fall type of collection. However, when you look at the actual papers and the embellishments, they are all very cream colored base, whereas these are all very white based. Now, I will combine cream and white sometimes. However, I usually, more times than not, I struggle with it and I end up not liking something that has a mix of both. Now, some collections will actually mix with, like I believe Chamel will actually have cream and white in the same collection. And that's fine. Like, it's not that you can't mix them, but a lot of times if you look, it just completely changes the tone of the paper. And I'm just going to show you here really quickly because I looked at the paper more closely to make sure that I didn't think that this would work. And so if you look at, say, for this paper, for instance, look how cream colored that is compared to the white of these papers. It's completely different, and the tonal value of it all is completely different. Yes, like this yellow matches this yellow, and this orange matches this orange, but your base of the paper is a completely different feel, has a different feel. And so what I would do is I would not add this to this kit. I think it's going to be too hard to use together. Because a lot of these papers, even if they're super colorful patterns, they have some of that white in, like even look at this one, even though it's mostly the plaid color, the white is very white. And so that just doesn't, the colors are almost identical, the base of the papers are very, very different. I think I'd really struggle using those together. And I feel like this is going to provide a different feel from your photos versus this paper. Okay. This is a little bit more cozier, a little bit more, I don't know how to explain it. I guess it's just, that's, I guess, how I would explain it. It's just like a richer, just this, I'd call this more vibrant. This is more of a rich toned paper. And so it's just going to be a different feel with your photos. So same thing, like this is a polka dot paper, which polka dots are very friendly and playful, but it's a very cream colored base. And so it kind of tones it down and makes it a little bit more of a serious, it feels more serious than if this background was white, and then it would feel a lot more playful. So I hope that makes sense. I probably am not explaining that very well, but I just wanted to kind of show you how it's really easy to look at the colors of the collection and say, oh, these all would work really well together, which some of these might, but when you look at the base of the paper and how different they are, it probably is not going to work very well for me anyway. Now I could definitely see something, say I've worked with this kit a lot, I've used up a lot of the papers, and maybe I still have a whole bunch of embellishments left. I could see then adding in this collection and combining it with a bunch of the embellishments, because some of them are very white based, some of them aren't. And so that could always be an option to use this as a kind of a backup collection to use up any remaining products that I have left after most of these papers are gone. That's always an option because the colors do match really well. Like, look how beautiful this is. But again, you have that white lining. I don't know how that's going to match. So maybe not. So I'm going to put that aside and not plan on adding that to the kit. But like I said, this is a pretty good size kit. I would say a good size kit is, I don't know, around maybe 10 to 12 papers. And you want some of those to be, maybe usable as background papers. So, kind of keep that in mind. A couple sticker sheets, a pack or two of ephemera, and then 2 to 4 packages of items that have some dimension to them, different types of dimension. So whether, like how you have stickers here, you have these pins, you have wood veneers, and you have flares. So there are 4 different types of dimensional items that will work well. And I have more die cuts than I probably need here, but that's what the collections had, so I'm going to use them. You want an alpha, maybe 1 or 2 alphas. And like I said, I always like to put a tool of some sort, a reusable tool of some sort into my kits because it makes me use them. Otherwise, I do not use them. And the way I have them organized, I have all my punches together in a tub, and I have all my washi together in a tub, and I have it organized that way. And so what I can just do is go to these different tubs and grab 1 to 4 items from each tub to add to the kit, because otherwise I would not use them because I'm working so much with kits. So adding them to the kit makes me use them. And so I really like doing that. And it just makes me feel better about all the product that I have, because I feel like I'm actually, instead of just sitting there collecting dust, I'm actually going to that and I'm picking 1 or 2 items out of those things, out of those collections, and I'm actually using them. And so it just makes me feel really good about that. Sometimes I'll add a little punch, like the little punch stamp things, you know, where you like turn and has the phrases. I might find one in my drawer here and use one of those. But stamp, I'm trying to think of what other options are. A punch. You could grab, if you have your die cut machine, you could grab a die or an embossing folder. You could really pick whatever kind of tool you want. Say, I'm going to use this particular tool with this kit. And especially if you have a lot of themed stuff, you have a lot of themed, like I know I collected a lot of themed stamps and punches from TJ Maxx. So I don't know if they even have scrapbook stuff anymore, but when they used to have pretty good scrapbook items on sale, they would usually be like Halloween themed or whatever. And so I collected a lot of like Halloween and fall themed stuff from TJ Maxx. So I'd grab like a Halloween punch. Like I did that this last scrapbooking weekend. I grabbed a Halloween punch and took it with me when I was scrapbooking the Halloween party at Disney World. So it's just sometimes about just putting it in front of you and making, you know, like you're going to use it if it's in front of you. If it's packed away somewhere in a bin or whatever, you may not use it. And so for me, that has been a very successful way to use my stuff. And so another thing I'm going to do is as many of you know, we recently downsized, so I do not have a scrapbooking room. I have half of my husband's office where I store a lot of my stuff, and then I have tubbed up all of my themed product, and it's actually out in our shed. And so, but we just did a huge garage sale this weekend, so I'm going to be able to reorganize that a little bit. So I can hopefully access them easier, because right now they're not very accessible. So if I want to work on Christmas or we're approaching Christmas season, I can just have my husband go grab my Christmas tub for me and bring it in. And then, so at least I can grab it as I need it kind of thing. But one of the parts of the process, obviously downsizing, we've gotten rid of a lot of stuff, and it's all stuff that we didn't need. And it's been a great journey. That's like a whole separate video. But part of that has been, I've always loved scrapbook books and scrapbook magazines. I have a ton of them. I still have a ton of them. I found a bunch more out when we were prepping the garage sale that I thought I had kind of found them all, and I've been trying to sell them and whatnot. But these books I love these ginormous magazine books that you could get at Hobby Lobby, and I'd usually always use my coupon on them. I love these so much, but a lot of these I didn't actually like I looked through them multiple times, but I didn't actually sit down and like scrap lift any of them. And so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to use this book. It's 601 Great Scrapbook Ideas. This is from Memory Makers. This is from, what year is this from? I don't even know. I would be probably in the front, huh? So this is from a few years ago, you guys. And so the layouts aren't going to be current. It is from, probably right in front of me, 2008. So this is 11 years old. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to go through this and just scrap lift some of the layouts. So obviously they're going to look a lot different. The product look is different, but you can take a basic design of a layout or the look of a layout and do your own thing with it. And so what I'll do is when I show you my layouts I make from this kit, I will also show you the layout here that I scrap lifted and how I went about changing. But I love doing this because it just makes it easy. It's a great starting point for me. And I also get to feel like I fully used the inspiration that I bought. Like I paid for this inspiration. I want to actually use it. While yes, I had the enjoyment of looking through it, but I want to actually feel like I used the inspiration. So this is a book I'm going to use for this one. I know I have a whole bunch of like fall themed magazines and I should be digging those out. But that's okay. I have plenty of fall and Thanksgiving pictures to scrapbook. This is not going to take care of all of them, so I can do that another time. This just happened to be in a pile in my living room because I was prepping for the garage sale. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to hold on to these a little bit longer and try to do this process with these before I try to sell them again. Because I think I'm going to try to sell them on Facebook or maybe here on YouTube. I'm not for sure what I'm going to do. So I just want to get one more like last hurrah out of them. And so I'm going to do that with this kit. And then I can feel like I can move them out of my home and feel like I used them in the way I wanted to when I first bought them. So there we go, guys. I'm back with my Kit Love stuff. I'm so excited. I cannot wait to work with these supplies. They're so pretty. Just looking at them here, they're gorgeous. And I have my photos printed. Most of them, I have some sitting on my printer, but here's quite a few of them from this last Thanksgiving and 2 Thanksgivings ago. So I have my photos pretty much printed, so I'm ready to sit down and scrapbook, you guys. So thank you so much. I'm sorry this got long and blabbery, but I know that kit making is something that a lot of people are kind of starting to think about and try to do, and there's a lot of questions about it. And while it seems like it'd be pretty easy, it can be overwhelming until you kind of get down what works for you. And for me, what works for me is putting papers together that have a similar back color, like white or cream or whatever, and then having a variety of dimension. So having flat elements along with medium size elements along with your more dimensional elements, and having layering elements. So having Project Life type of cards along with some die cuts, things that you can give yourself some fun layering options. And so for me, those are key to having a successful process with using a kit. And then great inspiration and adding a tool. So those are kind of the key things for me. Not making it too big, not having it too small. Kind of this medium size is perfect. And I can probably get 10 to 12 layouts out of this easy, maybe more than that. And but I will be back to show you. So keep an eye out for that. What I usually will do is this will be like Kit Love. Let's see, putting it together, and then in parentheses I'll put like fall. I don't know. I might just put the name of that first collection and then plus fall, and then I'll put that in the title as well, but it'll be put Kit Love, the results, or layout share or something like that. So you can connect both of those. I also have a playlist for Kit Love, and I'll try to make sure that's organized so it should be right next to each other, unless I'm working with 2 at a time, but I usually don't. So they should be right, when you go to the playlist for Kit Love, they should be right next to each other. So anyway, I'll be back, you guys. Sorry, I'll stop talking, but I'll be back and I'll show you what I make out of these supplies, and we'll see you guys then. Happy scrapping. Bye-bye.